We're here today to talk about the most important part of grant writing. And for those of you who haven't met me yet or watched any of our videos, my name is Mandy Pierce. I'm the owner of Funding for Good. And I get a lot of questions about grant writing, and I teach a lot of grant writing workshops around the country. And one that comes up more often than not is, what is the most important part of grant writing? My typical answer to this is the most important part of all fundraising, not just grant writing, but grant writing is included, would be building a relationship with the program officer or foundation staff at the foundation in which you're hoping to apply for a grant. If you skip the relationship building step, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. Unless there is a phrase in the grant guidelines that says phone calls are discouraged, and in that case you could probably send an email. Sometimes they'll say communication prior to submission of an application is discouraged. In that case you really can't. And sometimes it's really difficult to find contact information for a foundation. But those cases are all the exception. Most of the time, and the majority of program officers that I have worked with for over 2 decades will say, I would much rather have a conversation with someone who's potentially looking at applying for a grant with us, because I can help them determine, is their grant a good fit? How much they should apply for. If the program or project that they're thinking of is something that our board has funded in the past or might consider funding this year. If their organization is in its infancy. So let me give you an example. Several years ago, I had an organization that was new within their first year of being given their 501c3 status, and they had done some research and found an organization in North Carolina that had funded a similar program in the state. They did a lot of the same work, the organization served the same community, they had the same type of programming, but it was in a different section of the state. And I said, okay, well, let me give them a call and speak with the program officer and see what their feedback is. It seems like a good fit on paper. So when I called, excuse me, as you can see today, it's snowing here in North Carolina, so I've got my hot tea here on the front porch. When I called the program officer, I explained the program to them, and the feedback I received was, how long has the organization been established? And I said, it's been given their 501c3 this year, so it's been less than 12 months. And they said, it sounds like something we would support, but they have to be able to show us 3 to 5 years of proven success and history working in the community before we'll consider funding them. If we hadn't made that phone call, that information was not in the guidelines. That information was not on the website. The only information we had was, this is who they funded in the past, this is the level at which they funded them, this is the type of programming they're interested in funding, right? So it saved us a ton of time. Additionally, for those of you who have followed us before, we do have some information about foundations who don't accept unsolicited proposals, or foundations who only fund pre-selected charitable organizations. And I'll tell you that sometimes that's the same situation with those foundations. You have to call them. There are a handful of foundations here in the county where I live that all say that on their 990s. They say, we don't accept unsolicited proposals, we only fund pre-selected organizations. And the process is, you have to go through a gatekeeper. You have to reach out to them and ask the question, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we're looking for support on. Is it something that might be of interest to your foundation? And then it's the gatekeeper's job to either say, oh, I'm sorry, we've already selected everybody we're going to support this year, or we really do only select these 5 people every year and this is who we fund, or if you will send me X, Y, and Z, I'll present it to the board and give you a response. That's typically what I run into, is send me a 2-page letter of inquiry and let me see what you're wanting to do, how much it's going to cost, how you think you're going to implement it, what you think the results are going to be, and then I'll get back to you. And if they like what you've said, then when they respond to you, they will send you an application and then you can apply. They're not applications that are available online. It's not a website where you can go to and say, oh, let me take this eligibility quiz and see if I qualify. So remember that. I know that a lot of people are scared to call program officers and to have those conversations, but pick up the phone or send an email, schedule a time to talk with them, and ask them the questions that you haven't found the answers for through the application, through the website, or through the 990s. Make sure that you're a good fit for what they want to support right now, and get them to help you through that process. That way when they get your application, they know who you are. They have already started to build a rapport with you. Okay, we're gonna have some more things coming out soon about grant writing, so please feel free to follow us here on the YouTube channel. If you do Facebook, we have a Facebook page, and you can go here and follow us on Facebook. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below or email me at mandy@fundingforgood.org. Thanks so much.